Welcome back to the Stache Club Wrestling Podcast Virtual Edition.
Yes.
Little Timmy Jimmy Power Hour here.
Something a little different, but hey, a podcast is a podcast. Am I right?
Podcast is a podcast. Thank you everyone for the patience. I know we've been kind of radio silent. I've been sick as a dog for the past. Yeah, for the past week. It's been a tough one, but so that's why there hasn't been any videos. So we got the podcast today. We got one quiz in the chamber before we film again on Thursday. So hopefully, this is going to come out, and then the quiz is going to come out either I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday, and hopefully to make up for lost time and admittedly lost money, we're going to hopefully put out a ton of videos to end out January.
We'll load up for you guys. Yeah, no, we appreciate the patience, John. I'm happy that you're feeling a lot better. I missed our weekly podcast sessions, filming sessions, so I'm happy that we're back into the swing of things now.
Yeah, it's definitely been a minute. There's a lot that happened. We're not going to go over everything we missed from last week. There'll be a lot of bleed over talking about Raw and SmackDown. I told you before we hit record that this is going to be a fly by the seat of our pants episode. I got no notes. We are just chatting. I got no notes. I'm probably just going to be, Googling stuff and Googling what happened and what have you.
Here on my end. So
exactly. I'll tell you this though. One thing I was on. It started Monday, the sickness, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were the worst of it. And come Wednesday was when I was really starting to like, Jesus, what is going on today? I was sweating and whatever. And the only thing I could think, swear to God, was like, Jesus, how did Michael Jordan play basketball with this?
How did he drop 40 points like
that? Hell?
I can't even roll out of bed. Yeah,
can't even get off the damn couch. How the hell did he do this?
Hey, man, listen, how you responded to the flu was a lot better than how I would have responded if I was in your shoes. I told you before, I am the biggest baby when it comes to getting sick. I am the worst. I would not be taking care of myself, so it would have been quite the disaster. But yeah, no flu game for me over here if I was in your shoes. That's for damn sure.
This is our flu game.
This is our flu game. We come on here, we talk about wrestling for an hour or so, and we have a good time doing it.
I'll tell you what, it was kind of nice to like obviously Monday would come, or Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. And I mean, I just go stir crazy because I was just sitting down in my apartment, and 3 p.m. rolls around and you're just like, all right, I still have to kill like 6 hours at minimum before it's bed. Yeah. So it was nice to have at least like, okay, it's 8 o'clock. All right, sweet. Raw's on. I got something to occupy my mind for 3 hours or whatever.
Right. We can talk about it more like on Patreon or anything, but you catch up on like movies or anything like that while you've been sick? Anything
Not
else?
as much. I usually I'll watch a movie or two, but like I was so sick that I just like couldn't even like pay attention to anything.
Right.
So like I watched one movie and like a couple like TV shows. Like I ran back. I watched Batman. I watched Dark Knight Rises. I just started watching, Family Guy and New Girl, just reruns. But I didn't put any damage into any new series or which I was kind of bummed about.
On Letterboxd, no new ratings.
No,
Letterboxd, nothing.
I don't know what it was. I just didn't have it in me. I was like, honestly, I couldn't.
It's those two types of sicknesses: one where you can power through and like watch movies and stuff, and one where you're just out for the count. So
that's what it was.
Brutal. That's terrible, dude. Well, back in action now.
I guess so. But all right, we can get into some wrestling. There's a few big talking points so we can go off of. Obviously, a lot happened last 2 weeks, but we do have a Saturday night's main event this Saturday.
We do. In San Antonio.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up for the sake of just mentioning it and to talk about how little I care or how much it matters, I guess.
Yeah, it came up a lot quicker than I think. I don't know. I thought they would have had these shows spread out a little bit more. That's not going to be like consistently once a month, but I feel like they were just hyping up the very first one in X amount of years. Now, a month later, we're back.
Yeah, the hype levels for the first one to this one are just night and day. There's no Jesse Ventura promo. For some reason, they still got Hogan in the ads.
Apparently he's going to be there, probably promoting his beer or whatever the hell it is.
Hell yeah!
Why not?
It's It's as if like they knew the first one was going to be so hyped, and then they like. I feel like we got the rug pulled from under us because now we see the results of the first one, and we're coming off it, and we're like, oh yeah, it was just a glorified house show.
House show. At the end of the day, I think that's what these shows are going to be treated as. Especially this one, I feel like is more of that vibe than the one before.
Wicked.
This one, like I see, like there's 3 title matches. At least with the first one, I was thinking, oh, like they could pull a swerve or surprise us and there'll be a title change. I'm not confident. I'm not like trying to give predictions or anything, but I don't think they're going to do anything. I don't even think there's a possibility of a title change or anything like that this weekend.
There was one match. Let me go down to
Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu is like the one that I care the most about and I'm looking forward to be honest with you. As crazy
that'll be
as that
cool.
sounds.
I could see. All right, so what we have 4 matches so far. We got Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight, Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the IC,
that'll be a good match.
Strowman versus Fatu, and Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. The only one I can see is they're hyping up Sheamus again of getting the Grand Slam. That's the only one I can see. I still don't know.
All the title matches, if I had to gun to my head, I had to pick one where I think the most possibility of it happening, it's the Intercontinental Championship match. But to me, it's like there's no way they're gonna do all of it. Like give Sheamus this huge moment in San Antonio on a Saturday night at the end of January. I envision it being a WrestleMania moment. So, like, that's where my expectations are. So if they pulled the trigger here, I'd be a little happy for Sheamus, but I'd be a little disappointed in where they pulled the trigger.
Yeah, like whatever it was a month ago or half a month ago, we were like, oh, like this title could change. This title could change.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's at this point we've been shown that it's a glorified excuse me, it's a glorified house show, and they know that they've showed us it. So the WWE isn't even like putting the veil over our face this time.
No. I do think I think there might be, or hopefully one more match announced on SmackDown. Probably. There might be a Motor City Machine Gun DIY match. I've been hearing rumors of there being another match added, but the Cody Rhodes Kevin Owens segment is being mediated by Shawn Michaels. So that's something to keep in mind. I wonder if they have like some sort of spot planned with Shawn where Kevin Owens like hits him with like a package pile driver or something like that, or does something to kind of, build up the tension going into the Rumble. Something could happen there, but that's probably the most exciting thing that could happen on Saturday.
Yeah, and it stinks to see like Jey Uso get built up again just to get swatted down.
Hey, he did. He had a fire line against Gunther last night, saying only one of us main evented WrestleMania, so he does have that over Gunther going into Saturday,
which is kind of true.
Technically, it is true, but it's not like he didn't. It wasn't 1-on-1 tag team night one type of thing, but still has that over him.
Still counts. And then Rhea's now with Nia. They really just
Tiffany, I guess.
they just I don't know. They just don't really have anyone for Rhea until like a Becky or Charlotte come back.
Right.
Throw Nia at her.
Rumble after the Rumble, see who wins the Rumble if she starts a feud with that person leading up to Mania. Yeah, that was kind of the thing with putting the belt on Rhea too. Is kind of in a corner of who can challenge her and like legit opponents for her. Nia is legit, but she is just coming off of losing her belt to Tiffany. And it's kind of, I don't know if they're going to give her a world championship that soon and have Rhea lose that soon as well.
Yeah, I'm at least glad it's on Saturday Night Main Event so they can kind of just we're not going to get a full blown feud out of it. I'm just kind of I want to see something fresh. I like Nia. I've been even one of the people champion like, oh, she's been great since back. She's been improving and da-da-da. But give me someone fresh for Rhea.
Honestly, same thing with Gunther after Saturday Night Main Event. Like,
that's true too.
Like Jey Uso's a good opponent. I'm not like I love Jey Uso, but it's not truly believable to me. Not yet at least. Like, building up Jey Uso to win the world title. After this, like same thing with Rumble, I guess. See who wins it. If that kind of starts a story going. But I would love to see Gunther get his hands on some fresh opponents as well after this upcoming Saturday.
We can kind of touch on the Rumble. It's been a couple weeks before we got a real Rumble update. Men's Rumble looking meaty.
Stacked.
Yeah.
Absolutely stacked. Dude, this Rumble genuinely has the potential to go down as one of the greatest Rumbles of all time.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited for it. One thing I have noticed though, they haven't done a lick of building up the Women's Royal Rumble match. I think last night they did their first, like Bayley's entered the Royal Rumble. That was the first announcement for it. So that's been kind of weird, but
yeah, that was kind of my next point of conversation is it's as if we'll circle back to the men's and we'll talk about that. But yeah, the it's as if they forgot that there's a women's rumble.
Right.
There's like you said, where I don't know what 3 weeks out from the rumble at this point.
No worry. Yeah, it's next Saturday, a week from this upcoming Saturday.
Jesus Christ. And they've done no.
I'm looking
anything.
I'm looking at Wikipedia. 9 out of the 30 entrants have been announced for the men's rumble. 2 out of the 30 entrants have been announced for the women's rumble. Nia Jax did it on Raw last week, and then Bayley did it this past Monday. So, yeah, they're putting a lot more work on the men's side of things than they are for the women's, which I don't understand. They have such a stacked roster. They can easily build this up as one of the greatest rumbles for the women just as much as the men.
Yeah, like they don't need to do as many straight up announcements, but like they can at least acknowledge that it's happening and acknowledge that these are if the champions mention it and I'll face whoever or whoever wants to win the rumble, I don't care. Like have the champions announce it. Tease you have so many teases you can do with like NXT with people calling up, have people on NXT being like, oh, maybe I'll enter the rumble and I'm sick of whatever. That's been my gripe is it's unnecessarily been just cast aside almost.
Yeah, it's odd to me because again, like I'm with you where you don't have to announce like all 30 entrants.
I honestly prefer less announced.
I think you can do like half and half, like announce 15 people, leave the other 50 open for your imagination, surprises, like whatever you want to do. But you could do things along the way. I don't want to piggyback off you, but you make a great point of like just like tease it, be like, oh, maybe I enter the rumble, maybe I beat you, or like NXT people, just get some buzz going. You don't have to have straight up announcements of people locking in their entries. Just talking about it and making it feel important. That's all you got to do. And they haven't done anything. The only reason why I even thought of it was because I saw a tweet last night of someone mentioning it. And I was like, you're right. I feel like I haven't heard anything about the Women's Rumble.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't at this point. I can't even give like an early prediction either because it's like they haven't even the men's. You have like you said, you have 9 of them ready and they're all top names. At least give us the obvious. Like you said, we got Bayley, we got Nia. At least give us the obvious entrance.
Right.
I don't know. It is like glass half full. Is maybe they're not like giving names or whatever because it is going to be a lot of call-ups and a lot of surprises. That's maybe the only thing. Yeah, whereas like if half of the Rumble is going to be the NXT roster, and then also like
NXT, you're not going to give that away.
Yeah, and if it's going to be 50% NXT, 25% TNA people.
Yeah,
there's only so many people that you can announce, I guess.
Right. Yeah, because you do in that case like. There are plenty of surprises you could have. Like if you have people from NXT, like it's in company, but you don't want to be giving like a Roxanne appearance away or Cora Jade or Julia, whoever it may be.
They've been teasing Charlotte returning. They've been doing some vignettes.
Her vignette, yeah. They've been her return is imminent, as they're saying. I
think it'll be Rumble.
I honestly I'm not surprised because it can be one of those things where it's kind of building up more interest in the Women's Rumble. I was thinking maybe they were just going to have her return straight up, like no mention of it before, but this is a good way of like building up intrigue. And I guess even though it's not like included, like we're just assuming she's going to return at the Rumble, this is like building up suspense and like building up the Rumble, I suppose. But yeah, Charlotte being back, that's not a bad thing. She is one of the most talented female wrestlers of all time. So she is going to make a big difference on whichever brand she decides to transfer to, I guess, during this transfer portal.
Oh, yeah. They've been who is it?
I think she was on SmackDown before, so I don't know where she'd go, but I think Bayley's on Raw now.
I was gonna say there was a couple transfers that they did like the other night where like Bayley's on SmackDown now. They did the transfer. Someone else transferred last night on Raw. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Nia Jax. I forget.
Yeah, she's been on Raw the last few weeks, so I would imagine that she's gonna make the transition.
Speaking of Rumbles, though, we'll get to how the men's Rumble's shaping up. But one thing I did watch while I was sick, I did run a couple of Rumbles.
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing, honestly.
WWE just like had them playing like on their YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. So I caught the 97 Rumble and
97. Was that Austin?
Yeah. Stone Cold's first one, and it's like the famous one where he's like sitting on a turnbuckle looking at his watch.
That's awesome.
I watched that one. That one was great. Oh, what was the last one I watched? It was a newer one. Oh, I watched the what was it, 2016 when Shinsuke won?
Yes, it's like 2017, 2018. It was one of the late teens, like around
whatever it was.
Post 2015, whatever the hell.
God, that one was fucking.
That was a great one.
Awesome.
Out of like, it might be an all timer. It might be one of the best of all time. But at least recent history, recent memory, it is for sure one of the best ones.
And that was when Finn Balor was running shit in that.
They did the like old school, new schools like Cena, Orton, Ray, and then the newer guys. No,
it was the famous now Shinsuke. Now
I was just about to say
now Shinsuke.
One of the best parts of that
Shinsuke
Rumble was,
now
screaming at Shinsuke during the match to get up. Yeah, that was electrifying because Roman, I think Shinsuke Shinsuke may have eliminated Roman or whatever the fuck it was.
The final two was Shinsuke Roman. Mm-hmm. Who was it was Shinsuke Roman, not Drew. I forget who the final three. The final three was like, was it Cena?
You can assume Roman was in the final three. I feel like he's been in the final three for most of his Rumble.
Yeah, it was like I was watching it and I was just as hyped and still shocked. Like, wow, they gave it to Shinsuke. I still couldn't believe it.
Yeah, because I think him and Asuka won it. That was the first women's Rumble, and Asuka won it. And I was in college still, so me and my friends were into wrestling at the time. We were all watching it together, and we watched that together, and it was so hyped. It was such a good match.
What ones did you catch?
I've honestly been watching them all in a row. To be completely honest,
starting at one.
I've been going a Peacock and just going
Jesus
and
Christ!
I've been doing it for like the last few weeks. I feel like I do that before before Money in the Bank comes around. I'll watch like old Money in the Bank matches. Most of them are like on YouTube and stuff, but since it's all on Peacock, it's just easy to go down the list. But I think the last one that I saw was 2000, which The Rock won, and he eliminated the Big Show, and Rock's feet hit the ground first. But then, they said Big Show was the one eliminated, so it was a whole like thing they ran with it. But no, I've been revisiting some old Rumbles. Some of them I've like seen pieces of in the past, and some I've just never seen. So I just kind of want to revisit them and check them out for the first time.
See, I had to piece together what happened in the 97 one because like Austin got eliminated, but the referee didn't see it, so he ran back in and eliminated fucking whoever.
One thing I noticed rewatching, they did that. They do that spot a few times because X-Pac also did it. I think in the 2000 one that I just mentioned, gets completely thrown over, and then like the refs are on the other side of the ring, and he just like looks and just slides back in. I'm like, can we even do that nowadays? I don't even know if they'd allow that in 2025.
There was a whole thing where it was like Austin won that Rumble, and then like he didn't, like that didn't lead to the title shot. Something fucky happened with the title. So like it got vacated or something. So he needed to have like a fatal 4-way the next night on Raw or some shit.
I think
he ended up Triple H
Brett.
now. Or he was probably was Brett.
I think that was it may have been the one where like the shot of like him bleeding during.
I
could be wrong, but that may have been it. If that is the case, honestly, it might be better for Austin because I think that moment was like game changing for him.
But either way, I couldn't believe how fucking convoluted like Austin won, and then the title picture got fucked up, and then he had to do this, and then it took him out of it anyway. And like, I guess it's like it's only one of like 3 or 4 times that like the winner of the Rumble like didn't get a title shot or something crazy.
Yeah, because I don't think they didn't make that a rule until like mid 90s or something like that. Also, one thing I think late 90s was the first time because I was like watching them, I'm thinking about it, like, why don't they play theme songs? It took them till the late 90s to actually play the theme songs of the superstars as they're coming in. It used to be dead noise, and it's just like, oh, who the hell is this guy, or whatever it is.
I think I caught some. I think I caught one of the 80s. I forget which one it was. I definitely caught one of the 80s ones too, and it was just like, like you said, no music, people just running in, and the announcers had to go, "Oh, it's fucking
it's this
whoever.
guy, it's this guy."
Whatever.
Can you believe it? Yeah, that used to be a lot different back in the day, but it was crazy. It is cool to catch up on like the old. Was just seeing like how it was all those years ago.
It's also nice to see about like oh, they still did like fucky dumb shit back then.
100%.
You know, it's like something silly will happen today. It's like this wouldn't have happened in the 90s, and then you look back and like I said, it's like, well, Austin got fucking eliminated. You know,
right. No, it's good to revisit some stuff.
Well, speaking of revisiting, we can talk about the Rumble, how the Rumble's looking in general. I mean, we got at this point, who do we got? We got Roman, Punk, Cena, Seth,
Drew Sami. Who else do we got? Rey Mysterio announced.
Rey Mysterio.
I think LA Knight actually made. I think LA Knight was like the first one to announce it, or whatever it was. But locked and loaded this Royal Rumble. There are going to be some even bigger names, or maybe not bigger names, but more big names announced for this match. Like we said earlier, this could go down as an all-timer. It is shaping up to be something special.
Gun to your head, early picks. Do you got one? Because I've been thinking about it. Yeah,
pull the trigger. I honestly don't know. I think there are going to be 6 or 7 people in this match that you can genuinely make a case to win this, because Sami, it's a long shot.
Sami is so. I don't even think it's a long shot. I don't even think so.
At WrestleMania, the way Kevin sold it last night in his promo, I'm like, you know what? Like, that's not terrible. I'd be okay with that. That works. Drew, obviously, you can justify him winning it. Seth, Roman, Punk, Cena. I mean, all these guys have their own stories that the direction can lead to a world title match at WrestleMania. This WrestleMania card coming up is like, last year was so crazy. The road to WrestleMania, how everything got set up. But this is so unpredictable. Like, there's no tell on who's fighting who at Mania this year, who's going to be in what title match, if they're in a title match. It's nuts. I honestly don't know who I'd pick right now.
I think, again, gun to my head, if I had to pick one person, they're really behind Punk. They're really behind Punk. I could see the young guys, CM Punk, getting the big shot.
I'll tell you what, his promo last night where he said he'd throw Hulk Hogan's a dusty ass. That was
I'm gonna put an end to Hulkamania. I'm gonna kill Hulkamania is what he said.
That was fiery. That definitely sold me that he could possibly be the winner there. Honestly, I don't blame you for picking him. I don't blame you. I think that's a fair.
Who do you think it's not gonna be? My gut doesn't say Drew. I don't think they're gonna do Cena.
I don't think it's gonna be Cena. Another reason why I'm gonna say Cena as well is because where has he been? He showed up on the debut on Netflix, and he's not. Listen, I know it's a long year. We have him for the entire calendar year and stuff, but we were told that he was going to be around consistently. We haven't seen him since. I'm sure.
I was told a full-time schedule.
I was told full-time schedule. So him not being here to really hype up the Rumble makes me think that he's not going to win it. It also just could be, he's just not there, and that's just the way they have it lined up. But I think, in my head, I think they're going to build up Cena winning. If he wins a 17 championship, I don't think it's just going to be here's the Rumble. You're going to get your match at Mania, and it's as easy as that. I think it's going to be a little bit more trials and tribulations for Cena.
Yeah, especially since he already teased, like, I could win the Elimination Chamber. I could win Money in the Bank.
And stuff, right.
I don't think it's going to be like the first outing hasn't even had like an official match yet in his retirement tour.
Right. Yeah. So I'd probably say like listen, if he wins, I'm okay. Like I'd be hyped. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like there's other ways for him to get to Mania in a world title match or whatever it may be without winning the Rumble. I think that's just an old. You can save the Rumble victory for someone that it makes more sense for. It works better for the story, whatever.
I think if Roman had the belt, I would say Seth. Other than that, I don't see a real reason for Seth winning.
Sure.
Just looking at like who has the belts.
Yeah, him Gunther I think would be a good match, but I don't know if that's the world title match that I'm rooting for or pushing for. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Jey Uso I don't think is winning it. He's one of the other guys. LA Knight definitely isn't winning it. No offense, I don't think Rey Mysterio is winning it. Drew McIntyre.
Never say never.
Never say never. Drew McIntyre. I don't know. I can see another instance where like he gets screwed out of it somehow. It sets up a match for like another program for him at Mania or whatever. And then Sami Zayn, I think that there is a small chance, but I wouldn't put my money on Sami Zayn winning.
God, Sami would be electric.
That's an outside shot though. I think if there is
Sami
the dark
would be
horse,
fucking awesome.
It's Sami Zayn. Can you imagine how hyped that crowd would be if Sami Zayn, out of all the people, out of all the stars, not to say he's not as big, but like out of the Cenas, the Romans, the Seths, the Drews, Sami Zayn comes out on top and wins.
It'd be crazy.
Fire. That would be fire. So we'll see. Again, gun to my head, I don't know if I can pick right now, but there's a lot of good candidates to win.
Well, I do. Speaking of Sami and Kevin, their promo last night, really good stuff. Sami was basically expecting like, hey, like you're mad at me. How are we gonna do this? Like you know, he's basically like, I know you're here to beat the shit out of me, and I love that Kevin was like, Kevin saw the justification in Sami. Kevin knows that Sami is a forgiving guy. Kevin knows that Sami forgave him multiple times. So he's like, I'm not mad at you. Like you forgave me. I get it.
Yeah, like Roman did you wrong. You forgave him and you helped him. He's like, you're a good guy. You're a good guy, Sami.
Right. And I like to think that it was even too of like deep in his heart, he was like, we're friends. We're always gonna be friends. Deep down here. I mean, there's regardless if he considers him a friend or not, there's still history there that I think was being brought into consideration. And then it was a lot of, hey, when push comes to shove, and if I end up needing your help at the Rumble against Cody, I would hope you're there.
Oh man, he was.
I would hope you're there.
It was just so much like, I don't think gaslighting is the word, but just the way he was manipulating Sami Zayn, being like, oh, like we're friends, right? And friends do anything for each other, Sami. So like if you need me, like basically saying I'll help you win the Rumble if you help me beat Cody, essentially, and like we can make our WrestleMania match happen.
It was cool that he even mentioned, like, you know, he alluded to, like, this is what we wanted. Our childhood dream, Kevin versus Sami for the world title at Mania.
Tell you what, Kevin's a heel, but that promo was very logical. It made a lot of sense. That promo was great because people weren't expecting that, I think. At least I was expecting, you know, some back and forth. Kevin questioning Sami, his loyalty, friendship, blah, blah, blah. But for Kevin to come out and just be like, nah, like everyone's expecting me to come and say this. Like, no, like and he said what he said. I think it's a really nice addition to their story. So they're kind of still building up to that eventual, because they're going to have a one-on-one match. It could either be at Elimination Chamber, which is going to be in Quebec, I believe, or WrestleMania. So whichever one it is, it's going to be fire. But I think that they still have a little bit to build here before Kevin turns on Sami or whatever. So I like that they added this in to kind of give us some more time.
I have a couple of quotes here from the promo. This is before Kevin came out. Sami said, "I don't need the world championship, but damn it, I want it. Oh, so I want it. I knew it was only a matter of time before you came. How do you want to do this? I wholeheartedly believe and know you can win the Royal Rumble," Kevin told Sami. Kevin said there's one thing we've never done, that's main event WrestleMania together for the WWE Championship. As long as I walk out of the Rumble as WWE champion, that'll be possible. Whatever. I am fired up. I'm glad that they hadn't just swept this under the rug, or this tie under the rug. I don't think it's crazy for Sami to win it. I don't. I
don't either.
At minimum, I'm curious what we're gonna see. I'd imagine here's what I imagine the card's gonna be: is open the show with Women's Rumble
placement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Open the show with Women's Rumble, and then I don't know, whatever the fuck. What do they have?
Throw in like a U.S. title match or something. I think there was only 4 matches last year. It was the 2 Rumbles.
Yeah.
The Roman Fatal 4-Way match, and then the Logan Paul Kevin Owens match, the United States match. So
regardless,
title match, whatever.
I'm hoping. I mean, the men's Rumble needs to end the show. I know you have the WWE title on the line or whatever, and it isn't a ladder match.
It's called the Royal Rumble. The event is called the Royal Rumble.
But more so, I'm thinking it's just timeline stuff of like if Kevin Owens and Cody happens obviously before the Rumble. Is Sami going to come out and help? Do we get Sami stuff then? And then, a match or 2 later, then we get the men's Rumble. And I think there's a lot of like what ifs and we saw Sami earlier. Is that any inclination on the Rumble later? Right, is that like, is he gonna be too beat up? Is Cody gonna, it's gonna be an interesting night.
I definitely think the men's Rumble should main event the show.
Yep.
I mean, again, the way they're hyping it up, it's going to be one of the most star-studded matches ever. There could be a surprise. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying I want it to happen, but the whole Rock inclusion,
right,
entering in general, people, the theory of him adding the number 31 spot, whatever it may be. I think in my head, I want Kevin Owens to be a WWE champion so bad.
Me too.
So bad, but it's like, it's so hard for me to not imagine Cody Rhodes walking into this year's Mania not as champion. It's like I don't know what else. I don't know what else he would do. You know what I mean? Like they could do him Cena like icon thing maybe, or like him Orton, or what they'll find something for him. But I just can't envision him walking into WrestleMania without a world championship. So I think Cody's going to win at Rumble. I think if Sami doesn't show up to help, I can see Kevin Owens like coming in the Rumble and like screwing Sami or something like that.
I think that's the most likely.
I don't think Sami's going to show up during the Cody Kevin match because like Kevin's telling him these things of like talking about helping, but that doesn't mean Sami's going to do anything, right? He might not be like, I'm not going to get involved in this. And we're also a few weeks away, so we're making another promo, whatever. But I think the placement is important. I think if Kevin loses, there's a chance that we see him screw Sami, kind of progressing that story, or even not, whatever. But yeah,
God, I would honestly even love for Kevin to just lose and then enter at like 30 and win the whole damn thing.
That would be fucking crazy if they did that.
That'd be nuts.
Or even just going in there and just screwing over people that have screwed him over or whatever it may be. That would be fucking insane. A lot can happen. A lot of different things can happen.
Yeah, and we do have our predictions. Episode next week. We'll
definitely have to add some extra bonus points in there because if we're only gonna have 4 matches to go over, we're gonna need some extra points thrown in.
Yeah, I'm sure the Discord will have some random stuff.
Big time.
All right, where do you want to go from here? What do you want to talk about?
What else do we have from Raw last night that we didn't cover?
Well, we have yet to talk about between missing last week and just in general. We have not mentioned Mr. El Cero Miedo.
John, I think this is your time. I think this is your time, sir.
Penta's here, baby, and he is fucking on fire. He's
what you call a star, John. I think is the word we're looking for.
He's a real star. I mean, everything. I don't want to talk about last week too much, but like, fuck it. Obviously, last week came out to debut, beat Chad Gable. This week beat Pete Dunne in a match that I don't think was as good as the Chad Gable one, but it was still fun.
It could have been better, but it was still a good match.
I mean, I'm glad we got Penta versus Pete Dunne. But man, yeah, I can't talk enough about this guy. I think obviously contract situation sucks with Ray Fenix, but I think everything's shaping up in a real glass half full. Things have worked out for the best because we get a singles run Penta. We get him just on his own before, like, I'm not saying sharing the spotlight is bad or whatever, but like we've already done
crowd familiar with him and stuff like that. You know, making him more of a household name to the WWE audience.
And we've already done 6 some odd years of him in a tag team. Right. It's refreshing. I am envious of the people that this is their first time seeing him, and they're like, who is this guy? And like, whoa, the crowd knew who he was. I've been seeing, I think you saw too, like a bunch of backstage videos, and
very cool.
He just seems happy to be there. He seems proud. Grateful is a good word. I'm just over the moon happy for him. I think he has a huge future. And I don't and people were nervous that like, oh, his moveset's gonna get nerfed and like whatever, but like sure, he's not doing like still as crazy stuff, but like we got the Mexican Destroyer. He's still doing the what's his finish called? The Penta Driver? Is that what they're calling it? Penta Driver. Yeah, Penta Driver looks fucking sick. I don't know. It's not like I have a take. It's not like I'm just over the moon ecstatic for this guy.
Yeah, I mean,
how old is he?
I think 39.
Okay.
I remember seeing something, or I may have even looked it up myself, but I have 39. That number 39 in my head. Is it 39?
Yep.
Oh, well, good on me. Dude, he is, I mean, it's not like we haven't been seeing him in AEW for the last few years and other companies prior, but it really is, special seeing someone like Penta, who's been around forever, and like, the one major company hasn't been in his WWE, and seeing, how well received everything's been between his debut, the reception, the crowd, social media response, everything, sales as well, merch, his stuff is towards the top of the charts for WWE, and hearing what he had to say, not only in his promo afterwards, but also those videos that you mentioned before. He just seems like such a humble dude, and it's just like
great guy.
His family was in the front row. His daughters were in the front row for his first match. His 11-year-old daughter was like bawling her eyes out. She was so emotional. Him talking about Ray, how they're, he was his idol, and now they're friends. And he's, what's next for Penta? He's like, everything. Like, I want to win everything. I'm here to win, and I hope he accomplishes a lot, both as a singles competitor and as a tag team member when Ray Fenix eventually does come to WWE. But I really do applaud how WWE has treated him, because there was a lot of people that were questioning how he was going to be presented, the moveset, like you mentioned. But just like from the second he debuted, the theme song is good. That was the biggest word. I feel like, is the theme song going to stick? It's a good song.
I need to listen to it separate. Like just hearing it as his entrance, I was like, yeah, like, it sounds good, but like I couldn't tell you what it really is.
Right. It might be, if you listen to a standalone, it might not actually be that good, but it sounds good when it comes.
It sounds good in the arena.
And now he has the I saw a tweet, it's a limited edition pyro behind him, where it's like like a Doctor Strange thing behind him with the morph shit. Dude, he's great. He's being presented like a star from the get-go, and I think that it's gonna. I'm happy they had him wrestle 2 weeks in a row and didn't like give him a week off to kind of like get people hyped up more, I guess. I'm happy they're just keeping the train going. I hope he wrestles again on Monday, because it's must-see television. So yeah, I'm super happy for him.
I mean, when was the last time we've had like a guy come in and they've like hyped up like this? They've done vignettes. They presented him like this, like, we got this new star, Yeah. I can't remember the last time that we've had this, maybe like an AJ Styles.
Sure. Yeah. It may have been a while, but one thing I have seen after this too is that some AEW stars, are seeing how Penta was treated. Because I guess there's a report or rumor that people going to WWE might be a little bit hesitant how they're like presented and everything, but Penta's presentation so far has made people think otherwise. So that's also something that I thought was fascinating, how people reacted to his debut and all that.
What do you mean, like AEW stars?
I'm not sure like people like that, whose contracts might be ending, might be hesitant to go to WWE because they think they'd be lost in the shuffle. Like, they're AEW stars, they're not going to get treated well because they were for the competition. Again, reports, rumors, and stuff. We're not journalists, but just something that I've been seeing floating around that I thought was interesting.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I am excited for the future. It is, the way they're pushing him. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping. I think he'd look great with a world title. I think he'd look great with any belt.
Oh yeah. Him on a US or IC title run this year would be perfect.
Who do we want just to give a name for next week? We got Chad Gable the first night, and that match was fucking great. Pete Dunne held his own. I liked the finger manipulation they played with the Salem Yellow taunt. Week 3, who's Penta going up against?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm cheating a little bit. I'm looking up the Raw roster right now because I want to give a good answer to this. I think he could go against someone like The Miz.
I
was gonna say like a technical wrestler, maybe a vet, someone that he can kind of get a big win under his belt against. I think The Miz might be that's a great answer actually. Because I'm looking down the list right now, and I don't really know who he could face because I want to obviously someone that he'll beat too, and like not
Because Chad and Pete Dunne were 2 great 1 and 2s.
Great technical guys to put him up against to kind of show the crowd like his moveset and make him look really good. I really like your pick. I think I might follow you on that one. I'd say maybe Dirty Dom. Maybe he gets a backstage thing with Dom. He's talking trash, and that sets up a match. Not the most technically could be a better technical wrestler, but could be fine.
I wouldn't mind them maybe doing some sort of lucha versus lucha. Maybe they throw Dragon Lee in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see something like that. Maybe Ludwig might not be
they teased. I think didn't they tease Ludwig?
He was he said something on Raw last night. He was teasing something, but that could be a good match as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are, a handful of guys that they have lined up or, have prepared for him to face in the next coming weeks, I'd hope at least.
I want him to start doing more of his, we haven't really seen much of when he does the settle and he does the yellow in the guy's face. I want to see him. I want to see more of that. I want to see.
I love his walk to the ring.
The
sassy walk.
La Parka walk where he just I want to start seeing him do the where he's taunting and he takes off his glove and throws it at the guy. I want to see some of that. I
hope he's in the Rumble too.
Gotta be in the
Rumble.
That
would make sense. He has
gotta be in the Rumble.
That's such a huge stage for him. You put him in there, have him go crazy for 20 minutes, and then he's not going to win, but you could give him a solid presentation there.
Yeah, gotta be in the Rumble. I would even say, I think give him a run. You can have so many him facing off with CM Punk.
Oh yeah, I would love him and Chelsea Green had a match years ago.
Yes, they did.
I forget. I don't know if they made a reference. There was some sort of Chelsea Green back, not during the show. It was post show, on social media. She made a reference to something. It may have went over my head. It actually may have been a Penta reference. Just a little joke thing, not setting anything up. But I would love to see an on screen interaction backstage, and you're
it's a little wink, wink,
old friend or something like that, whatever. Not mentioning the match, but just we know that they know type of shit.
I've been seeing. Speaking of that, I've been seeing on there's been TikTok videos about his debut or whatever. And there'll be people in the comments let's say like, I think the video is like, oh, like it's cool that WWE got AEW star Penta. And then all the comments are like, AEW star? What do you mean? And it'll be like, this guy said AEW star. Bro really said that Penta's from AEW.
Bro really
Shut the fuck up.
He was there for 5 years.
He's been in AEW for 5 years. He was an AEW original. He was there when the company started in fucking 2019.
Was he in multiple companies before AEW? He absolutely was. But AEW was his home for the last 5 years. So it is okay to say he is an AEW star. Just like Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
You could say he was an AEW star. Same with Jade Cargill. You could say she was an AEW star because that's what they were. And if a WWE star went to AEW, even if that star wasn't somewhere else before, you'd say a WWE star went to AEW.
And you know what's also correct? People saying, oh, like, nah, Penta's a AAA star. Penta's a Lucha Underground star. All that's correct. But like it was I felt like I was on another planet seeing people be like just because the guy's now in WWE, everyone's like, what do you mean? He didn't do anything in AEW. Some of his greatest career highlights are in AEW. He's a multiple time AEW tag team champion. The steel cage match with the Young Bucks. Are you crazy?
On TikTok, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok gets banned for like 3 hours, and people would come back and start going crazy in the comments.
This is before the ban.
Even worse. People were going nuts before the TikTok. They had to get all that out before the app got banned.
It's like if tomorrow Seth Rollins went to AEW and people were like, wow, can't believe WWE star Seth Rollins, people aren't going to be like, no, that's ROH star Tyler Black.
He was
that's not WWE star. He didn't do anything in WWE. That guy's a Ring of Honor guy. Shut the fuck up.
NXT star though, wasn't NXT.
Or yeah, NXT.
Give him that. But no, I feel you that
people just want to be fucking, oh, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. Shut the fuck up.
Either way, Penta is a WWE star now, regardless of where he was.
Fired up,
and they're presenting him superbly. I don't think it could have gone any better so far. So hopefully they keep it up, and he continues to build momentum and becoming more of a household name, like I mentioned earlier.
Another thing we didn't mention, we missed it last week, and we kind of touch on the fact that she was not on TV this week. Lyra Valkyria, IC champ, baby.
Yeah, she was. I think she was advertised like the day before that she was gonna like appear or not have a match, but something.
She was advertised, and they just all they gave her was like a recap and a little vignette.
Love that. Love to see that for a new women's IC champ.
Off to a hot start.
They're treating the belt hot right off the bat. Yeah, I mean, Logan Paul, they had a video package for him.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
gonna show up next week. I don't know if he's going to have a match or not, but he'll be on Raw next week. Yeah, very weird. I think they've done that a few times since they've been on Netflix, where they've advertised something, and then like before the show starts or the day of, they change it or whatever. Like the New Day was supposed to have a tag team match like for 2 weeks straight or something like that. That got pushed off.
That was going to be the Penta involvement, so I get that.
The women's IC title match was originally supposed to be on the debut on Raw on Netflix. That got pushed off. Same with Penta as well.
Yeah.
Or at least the Chad Gable match was. Either way, they've been doing that a little bit the last few weeks. I don't know why they keep changing things, but
what else we got? Dom gave Chad Gable. He said, oh, I got. Here's a person to help you with your luchador problem or whatever. I don't know what the fuck that could mean. I don't know what
a number or something like that. I'm trying to find like the exact thing that he said, because there are a lot of people that thought he was talking about Aleister Black, because I guess he mentioned something about like training, and I want to see exactly what he said, because he said something that made people made the connection to Aleister Black, who is reportedly done with AEW. So if that is accurate, then maybe there's something there. But I don't know what that could lead to.
But why is Aleister Black like master of the luchadors?
No fucking that I don't have an answer for. But that is what he said. This Dominic will help him with his problem. No, they don't really go into specifics about it. Advice from someone who knows Lucha Libre. Yeah, I don't know. It could be. I don't know why it would be Aleister Black either. It was something about like the dungeon or somewhere where they train at. I don't fucking know. But who knows what that leads to? All we know is Chad Gable has a lucha problem right now.
It's got a lucha problem.
That could be
That's
another
worst problems to have.
I was gonna say worst problems to have. It could be another. People also I saw like saying like, oh, maybe it's Ray Fenix is showing up or something like that. That we all this stuff is a ruse and we're being swerved or something. But I don't know.
I'm at least hearing for Ray. I'm hearing July now.
Yeah, I honestly at that point anything going on there like it's so confusing and so like I don't know what's true and what's not. I posted a picture online of him like in a straitjacket, like he was like in his face was like.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
So he's tweeting things. He's doing all this shit. I don't know. It's one of those. I'll see it I'll believe it when I see it type of thing. You know.
Yeah. Well, last night to end out Raw, we got Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre.
Great match.
Sami Zayn came in. You got some interference. Ends up with Sami Zayn accidentally hitting Seth with a haluva kick.
Mm-hmm.
Seth is pissed. Yada yada. And yeah.
Hey, Drew McIntyre. 0-2 to start the year. Not a good start. Not a good start for Drew. Losing to Jay first episode of Raw on Netflix, and now losing to Seth. I mean, I didn't really have an expectation of who I thought was going to win or lose here because it seems like both these guys are they have their own things going on, but also kind of intertwined to the same type of story. But I thought it was a really good match. Any match that these two have ends up, being a banger. So good match there. And then obviously Sami Zayn, like you mentioned, hitting the haluva kick to end the show. Some miscommunication. There's already tension between Seth and Sami. So I can imagine that something's going to blow up either on Raw next week or maybe at the Rumble even because they're both in it. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm more curious of what's going to happen with Drew because he keeps losing. He's being treated as a top star and, all this and that, but can't get a win under his belt.
Yeah, I think a lot of this seems maybe it's going to be pushing Sami to the Kevin Owens side too. If Seth doesn't want to forgive him, it was an accident, then it's like, you know what? Kevin's got a point. Kevin's kind of done with you.
Like Steph, Drew, Kevin, Sami, all kind of being intertwined makes me wonder if there's going to be like a multi-man match at WrestleMania, or maybe all these guys are somehow involved in the same thing come WrestleMania time, or like individual matches that come out of it. I'm not too sure, but it is cool how everything, is tied together in one way or another. So everyone is kind of in some way connected to each other. I think that part is very interesting in all of this, and the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much else for the end of. It wasn't my favorite episode of Raw. I'll be honest. Of the three, it was solid. There's some good stuff happened, but nothing mind blowing. Like I said, I was also kind of on my deathbed for most of it. So
yeah, I agree. I think out of the 3 first Netflix episodes, like obviously they hype up the first one. It's going to be this big thing, and we're probably not going to find one as built up as that one was. Last week we had better matches and everything, and this week was a good mix of there were solid matches. We saw Penta, obviously Seth, Drew, but I think we haven't really talked about this at all. Is how they cut it short. They're not extending it.
I'm liking it.
2.5 hours
liking it.
Is amazing.
I think it's good.
They did it last week. They did it again this week, right around 2.5 hours. I think it's you're not pushing it too much. You're not drowning us in things that don't need to be told that week. Whatever. They're not pushing it. They're just keeping it simple. It smooths nicely, and it works for me. So.
It also makes like the ending more like unpredictable, where it's like, there's still 25 minutes left. Is someone going to come out, or is this the end? And I like that we're done with they got 3 minutes till USA kicks them off. What's going to happen? Or we got 3 minutes left. The Rock's going to come out and talk his shit or whatever. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying the Netflix era. Not every single show obviously can be a 10 out of 10, crazy shit happening. But yeah, I like that even, with that said, they're not just padding it to pad it. They're not just throwing a fucking I don't know,
a random match in there, or segment,
yeah,
whatever it is.
Tozawa versus The Miz for no reason or
Just
something.
to fill time, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's nice because, I mean, going into this, I think the biggest thought was, oh, the shows are going to be longer now. Like, there's going to be no cutoff. And I don't think, like, I never considered it being, oh, maybe they just won't, maybe they want it to be shorter. Maybe they'll just cut the show a few minutes shorter, 30 minutes short, whatever it may be. Which is, I think the first week it happened last week, I was a little like, it was Damian Finn, and I was like, wait a minute, is this over? I was more confused. Yeah. But now that I kind of simmered, I was like, that actually was great.
I like it.
And at 10:30, I get an extra 30 minutes to kind of just like whatever to come down from the show. I think it's great. If there are going to be some weeks where it goes over 3 hours too, it's not just always going to be 2.5. So it's nice that it's kind of, I guess, not unpredictable. I don't know if that's the right word, but it can be different every single week. We can either get more or less, and either way, I think they're going to balance it out so it's natural and it like flows really well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've been a fan of it. Like, that was my biggest gripe when, like, I haven't been loving the 3-hour SmackDowns.
Yeah, those shows have been dragging on a little bit. You can tell that they're struggling a bit more.
Well, speaking of, actually, we can maybe that's probably the last thing we'll chat about before we hop over to Patreon. But all the way over on SmackDown, Solo came out to talk. Left, Jacob Fatu took the mic.
Fiery promo.
Stepped up. Woo! Yeah. Guy's like, the future.
You think I'm crazy? You ain't seen nothing yet. Yet. Something's got to happen with the new bloodline now. Solo loses to Roman. As we know, losing comes with consequences. As we saw last year with Solo turning on the OG bloodline. But I think whatever this leads to, all we know is Jacob Fatu. It seems that they're letting the cuffs loose. I hope that they let this guy run crazy. The match with Braun Strowman at the Saturday Night Main Event I mentioned, I think I'm most looking forward to that match, which is crazy because I think they're going to let Jacob Fatu go nuts in this match and make him look like an absolute just monster threat. I am amped, dude. They are gonna let this guy go crazy.
Yeah, I think I was impressed of how quickly, not how quickly he picked up. We obviously who knows training wise or whatever, but it was nice that he got on the mic and they allowed him to show like, oh no, he's got that in his back pocket.
He can talk.
Yeah. I think Saturday Night's Main Event, I think it's going to be the breakout Solo, no pun intended, Solo, him alone victory. I hope he better win. He better not lose to Strowman.
There should be a 0% chance that Braun Strowman wins. There's no reason for him to win. And then it's like, well, what's going to happen with him Solo? Is they're going to have a match 1-on-1?
I'd imagine this is what we're leading to. If, while Cody and Roman are doing their thing, The Rock, whatever, like the new bloodline is so not involved in the main event story, or at least like in the in terms of the championship. So yeah, I'd imagine it's gonna be Jacob versus Solo. I don't know. They gotta do something. I'm also not mad at just like being cooled down on the Solo new bloodline stuff, because it's like
maybe give Solo some time off. Maybe he walks out and he doesn't show up for another month or something like that, and then you set up a whole angle there. Maybe Jacob starts his own bloodline. Maybe maybe we're just in a constant cycle where it's like you kick someone out, start a new bloodline, you get kicked out, someone that kicked you out starts their own bloodline. You just have a bunch of different bloodlines. Maybe
the even newer bloodline versus the new bloodline.
The new bloodline.
The newest bloodline.
The newest bloodline. The newer bloodline.
Yeah.
But as long as Jacob Fatu, whatever comes out of this, the trajectory for him is going up. So as long as they treat him well and they make him look like a star, and go right ahead. You have my permission to do whatever you got to do.
Speaking of an upwards trajectory, you see Joe Hendry, new TNA champ.
We always believed they waited a little too long to pull the trigger.
1,000%.
They definitely should have pulled that trigger a few months ago. But yeah, Joe Hendry, new champ. That TNA event, I mean, we didn't even talk about the new partnership with TNA and NXT.
Crazy.
A bunch of NXT guys showed up. Fraxium showed up.
Cora Jade
showed up. Who else was there? I think. Oh, was there someone else? Not too sure. Ariana Grace was there, Santino's daughter, because Santino is like I forget what authority figure he is in TNA.
Right.
But all that I could think of after Joe Hendry won was that he is going to be walking into the Royal Rumble as the TNA champion, because he's 100% going to be in the match.
He called out Cena.
Could you imagine if Cena has a match during his retirement tour for the TNA World Championship? If you told Vince McMahon this 15 years ago, he would have had a stroke. He would not believe it. 2025 is crazy, man. That would be insane if that match happened. He told like a story behind it of like, I don't know if you saw, he was on Busted Open radio with Bully and Mark Henry. And he said like his friend went to an autograph signing or whatever, and Joe couldn't make it. And he told Cena like, oh, my friend couldn't make it. Like, could you call him and like talk to him? He said Cena held up the entire line for like 5 minutes.
I think I did see
Joe
this. Yeah.
on the phone. He was just like, since then, his story, he wants to face Cena, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
But I think at minimum we'll get a face-to-face at the Rumble. Like at minimum we'll just get
100%. But with the TNA partnership, endless possibilities. I know it's just like NXT's the brand hyped up for it, but like, what if we see AJ Styles show back up in TNA? What if we do see Cena, and Joe Hendry have matchups? Like, there's a lot of things. The Hardy Boys. If I see Jeff show up back, whether it's NXT or Raw or Royal, whatever it is, I'm going crazy. It's a very cool time in wrestling in general, obviously, but this little partnership makes things very exciting.
Yeah, I think the Rumble will be interesting to see who comes over.
Jordan Grace is 1,000%.
Yeah,
going to WWE now.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get like a Nick Nemeth in the Rumble.
Oh yeah,
that would be sick.
Moose is a
that'd be fun
name too. Maybe not in 2025, but he could be a guy that shows up. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of wacky stuff going on.
Santino Marella
and Santino in the Rumble would be sick.
Him. That would be really fun.
I'd pop.
Obviously not a believable winner, but for like a comedy act and for like a little bit, you could absolutely throw him in there.
Well, I think obviously I'm sure there's still other stuff we missed. It's been a big 2 weeks, but I think we covered all the main stuff here.
So I hope so. I think so.
So that's gonna be it for today's episode. Again, kind of still bad on the tail end of the flu here. So we're planning on
patience with us.
Yeah, we're planning on getting back to it. We'll be in person for the pod again next week. Yep. But we hope you appreciated this for what it was. No idea how this is gonna sound.
It's something.
I'm hoping when I go to edit this, I don't go, this sounded terrible for the whole hour.
Oh, wow, awesome. What a shitty podcast episode.
Yeah.
This is. No, but thank you guys for being patient with us. Obviously, with health comes first and all that. So, but we're back in action. We'll have more in studio content for you guys moving forward. But we're back. That's the important thing.
Patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling to get an entire extra. We're gonna chat for like another hour. We got like 20 questions. We got a bunch of random stuff we're gonna talk about. So head over there, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling for a bonus wrestling Q&A podcast. And please make sure you subscribe. Please leave a like. Please follow. Let us know what you want to see on the channel. We have merch in the description. And with that, we will bid you adieu. We'll see you over on the Patreon. We'll see you all week on the channel. Until then, we'll see you when we see you.
Boom. Peace.